They're getting framed up for this shot, Jace. You've got the GLVC regular season champions, that's the Uindy Greyhounds, and the GLVC tournament champions, Mckendree. They are probably the hottest team in this region right now, and it is Hello and welcome into Nickerson Hall. Nathaniel Finch, that's Jace Hodge down on the sideline. Well, that's Stephen Pagel. We'll go to him in a bit, but first, we've got an amazing matchup for you. It's a third game of 4 that we have here at Nickerson Hall for this NCAA Midwest Regionals, and boy, this could be one of the better ones. We've got Mckendree, the Bearcats. They come in as an 8 seed, but they are maybe the hottest team out of the group. Whereas Uindy, obviously number 1 seed, they're hosting it. They're supposed to be the favorite. It's going to be a great game, and these are 2 powerful squads out of the GLVC.
They sure are. The Greyhounds, they've lost 2 of their last 4 games, both of those being to UMSL, a team that did win earlier today. UMSL is a threat in this regional, but the Greyhounds here, they beat Mckendree earlier in the year on this floor, 75-50.
I can't really hear the comments.
Particularly close, but should be a good game tonight.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, this Mckendree squad so much different than the one we saw back in January. This is going to be a great game. How about we go down and hear what Stephen Pagel has to say? Down to you, Stephen.
Thanks, guys. So, last time we saw these 2 teams play, Uindy was victorious, winning by 25 points in January. Since Mckendree has been on the 6-game winning streak, so they are very motivated to rip through the Greyhounds. Anytime there's a tournament match, there's extra intensity between teams that have faced against each other prior. Excited for a tense matchup. Back to Uindytv, hosting the GLVC, or hosting the Midwest Regional on the GLVC network.
Thanks a lot, Stephen. Boy, do we have a great game in front of us. How about we get right into the starting lineups? We'll start with the Bearcats, of course, coming in maybe the worst record out of the rest of the squad, simply because, you know, they had a slow start to the year, but since then they've really started to pick things up. 18-12 on the year. Let's take a look at these starting lineups. They're led by their superstar, one of the best players in the conference. 3-time first-team All-GLVC. He's a senior. His name is Bryson Boltman, a guard from Nashville, Illinois. A couple more guards for you. How about Carson Parker? He's a good player for this squad as a junior, also from Nashville, Illinois. Eric Powell, the second. We'll see him playing the point position pretty often tonight as a senior guard from Lexington, Kentucky. He gives you 12 points a game. Then a forward pairing. How about this? 2 great forwards for this squad. Milos Vicentic. He averages 16 points, 5 boards. Caleb Zerlini, a sophomore, is he 11 points and 6 rebounds. As far as Indianapolis, looking through the starting lineups for this squad, 26-3 are the Greyhounds, ranked number 1 in this region, ranked number 9 in the nation. We'll see bringing up the ball most of the time at the 1 position is going to be Josiah Tynes, a junior from Nova Scotia up in Canada. He's 6'3", 175. We've got another guard forward pairing of Bruno Williams and Jesse Bingham. Bruno being a senior. Bingham in his 3rd year with this squad from Warren Central High School here in Indianapolis. His Warren Central teammate, the forward, playing the 4, Jacoby Robinson. He's a junior. Could end up leaving at the end of this season. He's one of the few Greyhounds who have that decision to make. And then we've got Kendrick Choa. What more can you say about the GLVC Player of the Year, the Midwest Region Player of the Year, the junior from Silver Springs, Maryland, 6'7", 240-pound center. These are some good lineups that we have here.
Definitely are. And the matchup I'm looking for tonight is Kendrick Choa versus Milos Vicentic. Them 2 down low is going to be a battle all night long between Choa and Vicentic.
On the floor, they're going to get through some of these names. How about we start with Vicentic? You see there, 2nd team All-GLVC this year. He was the GLVC tournament MVP, put himself a great setup. Averaged 20 points, 6 rebounds in those 3 games. And we see on the other end for Indianapolis, Jacoby Robinson, some great tournament games he had as well. Big reason why Indianapolis defeated Quincy in double overtime in that quarterfinal out in St. Charles.
And Robinson, he transferred over from Mckendree a few seasons ago, so has some experience with maybe some of these players on this squad.
We're going to hear down on the floor announcing Bryson Boltman. He is going to be the key to this game for Mckendree. Boltman this season, like I said, 3 straight seasons where he's been first team All-GLVC. He was the freshman of the year just back in 2019, a long time ago. He's getting the most out of his college career on the GLVC All-Tournament team, first team All-Region, 2nd in the conference in scoring this regular season. He has been a great player, averages 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. a great all-around player.
And what more can you say about him? He lights up the stat sheet every night. Like you said, 16, 6, and 5 on average. He just does it all.
As far as Uindy, Jesse Bingham, they'll announce him now. How about Bingham? From Warren Central High School. Unanimous first team all GLVC selection. He's on the all defensive team in the conference, second team all region. It takes a while to rip through all the accomplishments of this young man. Also on the Bevo Francis top 50 watch list. They'll trim that down to 25 names this upcoming week, of course, the Bevo Francis list. Small schools, that's anyone non-Division I. The best players from Division II, Division III, NAIA goes all the way down the list, and he's one of the select few in the country that have been standing out so far this season. So now these guys prepared to get on the floor for Uindy. Head coach Paul Corsaro, he's the GLVC Coach of the Year, just in his third year with the squad, 57-27 his record is. And then to coach the Bearcats, George Suggs, 34 wins, 24 losses in just his second season. A young coach for this squad. Graduate of Bellarmine, class of 2016. And he's been doing a great job this season leading the Bearcats. Second time they've met in Nickerson Hall this year. Of course, Mckendree, they've never won in Nickerson Hall. All three of their series wins out of the 18 total that these teams have played have come in Lebanon, Illinois. So they're going to try to buck that trend today. It's also the first time Mckendree will see an NCAA tournament berth. Bunch of firsts for this squad. First time they won the GLVC tournament. I mean, this has been one heck of a second part of the year surge here for the Bearcats.
It sure has, and last year they got their first ever win in the GLVC tournament. So making it to the NCAA tournament and winning the GLVC tournament, definitely quite the accomplishment for this Bearcat team.
Quick inbound. They'll lose the ball. How about Kendrick Choa getting the steal?
Yeah,
Already a quick turnover.
Both times and Choa were there with their hands on the ball to force it out of Carson Parker's hands.
In that first game earlier, Ashland and Ferris State. Ferris State gets the win, a close one late. They win by 2, but we saw, a pretty big handful of turnovers in that opening stretch of the game. It was something like 6 turnovers in the first 5 minutes, something crazy. Instead, here's a 3, and it just looks like Zerlini got the hand on it on the all-defensive team for a reason. Number 1 in the conference in blocks. Caleb Zerlini's been a great player on defense. Boltman, quick 3, he's good at these, and that one's an air ball. How about this? A couple air balls early, a couple just off-target shots, and I think jitters are getting to these guys.
Definitely could be the nerves. Like you said earlier, a lot of turnovers in that Ferris State game. A lot of these players haven't played before in the NCAA tournament, so could be some nerves here to start out the game.
For Uindy, nobody on the squad has played in the NCAA tournament. Of course, Uindy hosting it for the first time in 3 decades as this one goes in from Kendrick Choa, the nation's leader in field goal percentage. Gets another one to go. I'll tell you what, he's the nation's leader in that category with 70% from the field. Jace, he's gone on kind of a poor stretch the last few games. He used to be 74%. He's dropped 4 percentage points, and he's still number 1 head and shoulders. He has had himself an incredible year.
He sure has. He's just a dominant force down there in the paint. Hard to stop when you get him the ball.
Similar to the Bearcats, Choa really is coming to his own in the second half of the season. You got to imagine if he had as strong of a first half as he did his second, he'd be on that Bevo Francis top 50 list. Instead, how about just GLVC Player of the Year? As he gets another one to go. They won't count it. It'll be an offensive foul instead. Second foul called against the Hounds.
It looked like Eric Powell, the second there, had his feet set in time to draw that charge on Tynes.
Boltman's going to bring it up from the baseline. A little bit of a full court pressure here. Nothing too crazy from the Greyhounds defense. Just trying to remind Mckendree that they are the number 1 defense in the conference. Boltman left to open. Doesn't matter. There's a foul off the ball, and the Hounds clap.
It's a good response. Draw a charge the other way. Get the ball to go back your direction. Very defensive start here for both sides.
I'll tell you what, since that Uindy game where Uindy defeated the Bearcats by 25 points back in January in this building, Mckendree, they've won 10 of 13 games. They've been on a tear, including those 6 straight that they've won since a tough home loss. They lost by 2 to Missouri S&T, uncharacteristic of them, and since then they've been on a tear. Here's a 3, right perimeter, and it's a no. Robinson tried it, but could not make it fall.
And it was a confident shot, though. He went right into it. No hesitation at all, which is what you like to see.
Look at this feed. Nothing called. There's two. And they tie it up. How about the pass from Zerlini behind his back? Think that was enough to warrant any kind of call either way?
I think Vicente, I think that was a fairly clean play overall. His feet definitely weren't set in time, so I think right call.
Bingham works his way around underneath the bucket to lay it in. I'm not going to be one to complain when the whistle doesn't blow. That's a big difference between a couple of GLVC tournament games this last weekend in St. Charles. A few games where the officials decided to call maybe too many fouls. Other times where they didn't call much at all. You're always going to favor the ones where they let the guys play.
And right there, Bolton, he had Parker open, but he threw it too low, went off Parker's foot, out of bounds, and UIndy bringing in a host of subs now.
Sean Craig enters the game as a freshman. He's been having a pretty impressive season, just averaging 5 points and 2 rebounds a game, but he doesn't come in and play a lot. When he does, he can be a huge threat from downtown, and when he gets hot, there's not a lot of teams, not a lot of players that can get any hotter. He's number 1 in the conference in three-point shooting. Here's a nice little turnaround. Jesse Bingham, a couple quick points. Jace, tell me what this means. Bingham has gone on so many games where he starts so slow, but he's got 4 of their 6 points right now.
And if Bingham can get going early, this Greyhound team can really get out in front of a lot of teams. If you have Cho and Bingham both going, this team is hard to beat.
We'll move it around the perimeter. Here's Vicentic. He'll come in and kick it back out to Boltman. Boltman, great score, tries to go up, can't get it to go. Offensive board to the 7-foot German. Haven't heard his name yet. That is Julian Steinfeld, a sophomore for this squad.
And that's what he's in here to do, grab those rebounds off the Mckendree misses, or maybe even a few offensive boards here and there.
Bingham stops and pops, bounces around, he can't get it. On the other end, here's a nice layup in transition. Eric Powell the second, plus the harm.
Nice transition there from Mckendree. Spotted Powell running down the court wide open right here. You can see Zerlini found Parker open. Robinson trying to get back. He just can't get back in time and commits the foul as well.
That was a beautiful pass. How about that to get it out to the other side? It's a pretty impressive look to give the Greyhounds this 2-point advantage, but Mckendree, they did a good job cutting that deficit in half. When we come back, we'll have more coverage. That's next on Uindytv and the GLVC Sports.
Are you feeling alone in your faith? Uindy Catholic gives you an opportunity to get involved in a religious community on campus, providing sacramental needs and fellowship for prospective students and giving you a sense of belonging.
We just want you guys to know that God loves you, He delights in you, and He's in awe of you, and we would love to meet you. So you should come on out.
Uindy Catholic, a community for you.
Hey, it's Giselle here on 88.7 WICR.
88.7 The Diamond, the only jazz and classical station in Indianapolis, completely led by the students of the University of Indianapolis. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, FM radio, HD radios, or even on our website at wicronline.org, a different kind of public radio.
Nickerson Hall, it's on the south side of Indianapolis, the campus of UIndy. That is who currently wears white in this game, the third of 4 that we'll have here on Uindytv and the GLVC Sports Network. Eric Powell Jr. trying to complete the 3-point play. He does. That's Powell the second, 20th in the conference in scoring. Credit to the GLVC, Jace. 3 teams out of that conference that are in this Midwest region.
And getting that third team, Mckendree, was huge too from the auto bid from the tournament. Getting 3 teams in, though, very impressive. UIndy, UMSL, and Mckendree. UMSL already getting the win earlier today, so GLVC guaranteed to have 2 teams in the semis of this regional.
Bingham a floater, it's no good. Vicentic with the rebound, and now in transition. Davidkov slows things down. Back to Vicentic from Belgrade, Serbia. Same with Davidkov. Rolls it in. That was an impressive little hook shot.
And that's his game. He can back down the defender, get the hook shot going. When he gets that hook shot going, it's really tough to stop.
Jarvis Walker kicks it out. Here's Tynes helping lead the second group. as he gets called for a foul. Put Tynes at the line for 2. I like this lineup they have. Let 3 of your 5 starters get a rest. Let Bingham and Tynes come in and kind of lead this group, and so far they've played pretty well.
And definitely some earlier subs than you'd usually see from, college basketball teams. They brought in subs fairly early on, giving some of their starters a rest.
Choa comes back into the game now. Steinfeld will take a seat. He's the only sub for Indianapolis. Second one is good, and the Hounds take a penny lead. Nickerson now enters the game for the first time today, and tell you what, Ben Nickerson kind of started to fall out of the rotation throughout the second half of the season, but he found himself so much playing time in that first round, the quarterfinals of the GLVC tournament. They got to overtime, they got to double overtime, and then they beat Quincy, and he was a huge reason why. Coach Corsaro's words, thank God we have Ben Nickerson. He was huge in that game.
And he brings a lot of energy to this team. You can see he just plays with that fast pace that this Greyhound team needs. He has that, that he leads this team by example.
Four fouls against the Hounds. Just 2 against the Bearcats. Here's Davidkov with it. Vicentic into the double team. That leaves the man open on the other end. Powell the second knows it. As soon as he let go of it, he knew it.
And that's good ball movement from the Bearcats there, kicking it around the arc, finding the open shooter. And that was Eric Powell, a pretty good shooter from outside the arc, 44%.
Powell on the other end takes another 3, but he walks with it. So the Hounds will have possession here.
You could tell Powell was feeling it there. He hit that 1-3 and he wanted another one, but just a little bit too much stepping there to get to the 3-point arc.
Hounds back onto the floor. And now we see typically your forward, Jacoby Robinson, running the point. Inside to Choa. Tough double team. He loses it.
And Choa lost it there. Then it went off of his foot. Kickball violation on Choa. So some good defense there by the Bearcats, double teaming him, not allowing him to get any leverage down in the paint.
Vicentic takes a rest. A well-earned one. Boltman comes in to try to lead the unit right here, although Powell's been playing really well. 6 points for him. Leads the game in this early juncture. No look pass to the corner. Big man can't hit it. That's Hayden Meeks. Transfer from Australia. A couple international players on this Mckendree squad.
Yeah, they have 2 players from Belgrade, Serbia. 2 Serbians and an Australian on this team, so plenty of international input on this team's game.
Bruno Williams back into the game. Inside feed to the GLVC Player of the Year. He kicks it out to Tynes. Mid-range Jay can't get it. Ija climbs over the sea of purple to get it.
That was a nice hustle by Ija. He spotted that ball was going to be a bit too strong and bounce off the back of the rim and out. He got that.
Long two, no. Boltman gets the board. Mckendree up too early. 7 minutes in. Stolen away. 1-0, and he lays it in.
Nice play by Robinson. He spotted that pass was going to go across the eye there in the middle of the court, stole it away, got the easy 2 points tie up this game.
And he got right back on defense to play some full court pressure on Eric Powell Jr. That was impressive. Tied up at 10. Oh, and Robinson wants to do it again. Instead, from the corner, Boltman never misses these. He does this time, though. Board gifted to Bruno Williams, now Tynes.
Definitely not who you want to leave open there with Boltman.
Joa Hack sent him to the line for two, a chance to take the lead.
Some nice hustle from the Greyhounds on the other end of the court. Led to an open three because everyone was trying to get the ball and start rushing down the court in transition, and no one spotted Boltman there open in the corner. Boltman doesn't often miss those, so a break there for the Greyhounds.
Rolls around and out. Joa just 2 points. Of course, he's coming off maybe his worst game of the year, in which case he got in foul trouble early, didn't get to play a lot, and ended up getting blown out by UMSL. It's been a big difference maker this season. Whenever he's hot, this team can really succeed.
Missing both there for Choa. Not ideal, 70% shooter on the year, so not too shabby from behind the line there, but two big misses there for Choa.
All the way around the horn, corner shot. This one is around and in. That's what they were missing earlier. They were just missing those shots, but this time Meeks drains it.
And they've been finding themselves open in that corner far too often for the Greyhounds' liking here.
Bruno Williams with some space. He loves these long-range twos. Instead, he'll come up for a closer shot, but it was by no means easier. Contested, can't. Zerlini hands it off. Here's Boltman. Etherington, good defense, sets up an open three, and he got it. Hayden Meeks drains a couple of those. The forward typically plays inside. Choa thought he wouldn't hit him, he did. And we have hit the under 12 media timeout. With that, we're going to head down to the sideline with our sideline reporter and Stephen Pagel. Stephen, what do you have for us? As Stephen gets set, we're just about ready to go. Stephen, what you got?
So, during the break, I overheard Paul Casaro saying, you know, this team is going to be very chippy, and we can see it. Eric Powell made a three and sent a signal to the sideline, and Mckendree's whole bench is standing up whenever, you guys hear me? Okay.
Like Bryce Young, right?
What did you say?
No, it's Bryce Young. It's obviously Bryce Young.
C.J. Stroud, the obvious pick for Steichen and the Colts.
Ohio State quarterbacks, we know they don't
I mean, come on. He's got the whole offense handed to him. Check out Last Call. We've got all the sports info you need from around the nation and right here on campus. Plenty of UIndy sports.
College football and college basketball.
The NFL.
The NBA.
MLB.
Don't forget about motorsports.
And I'll give you all the gambling picks you need to know to make some money right here on Last Call, Mondays at 4 o'clock on YouTube.
Back here at Nickerson Hall, Hounds will have possession. They had to call a timeout because Hayden Meeks just hit two straight from downtown. Mckendree have hit half of their 6 shots from beyond the arc. Some substitutions. Bingham back into the game. This could be big. He had a good start. Kicks it out. Tynes comes in. He goes up strong. Oh, ball. It's blocked away.
It looked to be Hayden Meeks got the block there too, so Hayden Meeks all over the floor right now. Hit 2 threes in a row, now a block, and got the rebound 2 to his name. Hayden Meeks making an instant impact here off the bench.
Boltman, tough shot, can't get it off the glass. And it is Robinson who controls. He'll try to go coast to coast. Instead, kicks it out. Corner 3, air ball.
2 tough shots here from Bingham so far. 1 short, 1 too long. The first one may have been tipped, but Bingham looking to get going here.
A lot of contact. Looks like Bruno Williams a little too far out on the screen.
And UIndy's having some trouble getting a rhythm going on offense. They having really anything set. They can't get the ball inside. They're not having the best of luck from outside the arc either. So UIndy looking to get some offense going here.
Boltman to bring it in. And he does so to Parker. Quick 2-bucket lead, trying to make it 3. Here's Vicentic working on the 7-footer, and he just overpowers him on the inside.
And that's Vicentic. He can do that all day long. It could be anybody down there. It could be an 8-foot player. He'll still go right inside into anybody and do that.
Here comes Bingham, loses the ball.
And all credit here so far to the Bearcats on defense. It's not letting UIndy pass them. And if they do get past them, they're getting their hands on the ball, making it tough for the Greyhounds to get any easy layups or shots.
Trying to increase an 8-point advantage. Here's Carson Parker, kicks it out to Boltman. Again, he's been the focal point of this offense. Here's Vicentic from 3, he got it. It is a double-figure lead.
And
Milos Vicentic.
How about the Bearcats so far? Lights out from behind the arc in their last few shots. And UIndy here looking to get something going before it's too late.
9 of their 11 points on this run have come from 3. Here's 2 more. Vicentic lays it in. A 13-point advantage out of nowhere.
And the Bearcat faithful are here, and they are loud here at the home of the Greyhounds.
About a 3-hour drive is Lebanon, Illinois from here. Bingham can't even get it to go. There's a lid on the bucket. He tried to put it in with 2 hands and it fell out. Here's Steinfeld off the glass to stop the run. It was a 13-0 run after we were tied at 10.
That's a big bucket from Steinfeld too. Stop that these Bearcat fans. They were super loud. They were getting all hyped up. Nice little shot there to quiet the crowd.
Boltman Euro steps his way to 2 points. He averages 15, 8, and 5 in the GLVC tournament. Walker thought about a step back 3. Instead, give him the hoop and the harm.
Needed that if you're the Greyhounds. That and one's huge. Get this crowd, this large crowd of Greyhounds fans, get them going. Give them something to cheer for here.
Craig and Nickerson into the game for Indianapolis. We'll see Walker at the line. After that 13-0 run for Mckendree, UIndy's made it a quick little 5-2 run. They got to try to build on this, get it back within striking distance before the half. This will go a long way. A turnover. Boltman loses it. Good defense.
Jesse Bingham bringing the pressure there. Got his hand to the ball. Knocked it out of the hands of Parker there. It went off the knee.
The deficit is at 10 for the team in white.
And for the Greyhounds here, a shot could go a long way here. Getting some momentum going. Building that momentum would go a long way here.
Nickerson not as much of a scorer, just averaged 4 points in those GLVC tournament games. But he's got the ball here, can be a good facilitator. He's gonna try to go all the way to the cup here. Instead, kicks it out. Here's Walker, comes in strong and loses it. Gives up, and the ball's on the ground. Bodies everywhere, nothing called until the shot clock goes. Nickerson hit it for good measure, but how about Jarvis Walker thinking that he had lost the ball as a turnover and then turned around and gifted right there back to his chest.
And you could see him looking around like, where's the ball, where's the ball? It was right next to him. He just couldn't gather it back in time.
Mckendree, a nice little 13-0 run. UIndy strikes back, but it is a 10-point advantage. Let's hear Stephen Pagel.
Run right there by Mckendree. Paul Casaro opted to not call a timeout after the run. Instead, he made some key lineup switches. The Greyhounds cut the lead to 10, and both teams are continuing to be quiet and remain focused before the half. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Stephen. Let's take a break. Mckendree off to a 10-point advantage. It is 25-15 here from Nickerson Hall, punching the home team in the mouth. And the Bearcats, like we talked about, this is not the same team the UIndy beat by 25 back in January. They are probably the hottest team in this 8-team regional.
They definitely are 6 in a row and clinching that automatic bid in the GLVC tournament. And how about Milos Vicentic so far? 11 points, 5 of 6 shooting.
Mckendree probably would not be here if they didn't win that GLVC championship. And the way the resumes looked, especially from that first half of the year, not enough to get an at-large bid. But you know, the easiest way to get in the tournament, Jace, you go win your tournament.
That is the easiest way, getting that automatic bid. You don't have to worry at all about getting an at-large bid. You win that tournament, you know you're in.
That's what Penn State's trying to do to your Hoosiers.
We gotta talk about that.
The Nittany Lions currently ahead. Pretty healthy on IU. They'll play Purdue tomorrow, whoever wins that game.
Penn State's already in, but doesn't hurt them at all.
From the line, front end miss. Walker gets the board. It's an 11-point deficit. Using the Choa screen. Halfway through the clock, here's Walker, top of the key. Tynes looks for a shot. Instead, Bingham's got it. He'll come in and kick it out. Deep three. He got it. That'll do it, Josiah Tynes. That'll do it.
And it was still good defense from the Bearcats. You can see how active they are. They're on defensive end, switching back and forth, getting right up on a Greyhound, not allowing any space for the Greyhounds to move.
A couple steps behind the three-point line, too. I mean, you try to defend everything close to the bucket, but that's just a hard shot to defend against. Boltman and Vicentic into the game. Here's Vicentic, lays it in off the glass. Back to 10.
13 points for Vicentic so far. If you're the Greyhounds, you got to figure out how to stop him.
Bingham feeds inside Choa. He misses it. That's a bunny. He couldn't get it. Does that describe the start to UIndy or what?
And that one is just a punch in the mouth of the Greyhounds. Just lost the ball midair going for the layup.
Deep three, Vicentic, no. Moving quickly. A chance at redemption if he wants it. Here's Choa, works on the inside, and he uses the glass to drop it in. Inside, another nice little bank shot. Caleb Zerlini drops it in.
Zerlini, a nice move there, too, to get around the defender to get that layup. Was able to maneuver his way into the paint.
Long two, Walker can't get it to go. Bounces between the glass and the back end of the iron. Not on target. Powell, the second, takes a three, and he got it. Back to a 13-point lead. Coach Corsaro says slow it down. He's got 3 Greyhounds waiting to return to the game.
And the Bearcats have brought their A game tonight as they had the last 6 games in a row. Looking to win their 7th in a row, get their first ever NCAA tournament win.
Walker thought about a 3, steps up, long 2, and he got it.
And that's what you got to do right there if you're Walker. Pump fake, get them to jump, move past them, get the open 2, the easy looks.
UIndy in their 13th NCAA tournament appearance. They've advanced to Sunday 4 times. And they've advanced to that Tuesday regional final game just once. Jace, that was in 2015 when they lost to Bellarmine in that game. And you know who's a player for Bellarmine, as a blocking foul gives him the and one. Boltman to the line. You know who's a player for Bellarmine in that 2015 year? George Suggs of Mckendree, the head coach. It's the only time that UIndy's made that deep of a run.
And George Suggs, only a second year as the head coach of this Bearcat team, leading them to the NCAA tournament in a second year. Very impressive year from the Bearcats, especially towards the end.
Well, how about his career trajectory? Joined Mckendree as a GA in 2018, spent 2 years in that role. Got his degree, became an assistant in 2020, spent a year in that role, and then now promoted to head coach in 2021. He's been phenomenal. And his 54% win percentage last year, the highest in school history. Can you believe that? 54% in a season, and that's what they're saying is the highest in school history.
Definitely surpassed that this year, though, with the 18-12 record plus an NCAA tournament berth. This is the best season so far in program history by far.
Yeah, and he's got a lot to show for. He's been coaching pretty crazy this year. It's been impressive to watch. Of course, it helps when you have two standout players like your senior Boltman and your junior Vicentic. The first one has the ball here. Launches it out. The number one defense in the GLVC trying to hold strong here. They'll go up and miss it. Greg gets the board.
For the Greyhounds here, down by 14 with under 4 to go. You want to get something going before halftime. Take something into the locker room to work with.
We'll see an off-ball foul called. And with that, will bring us to the under 4 media timeout. These teams going to talk this one over. Looks like they might even look over at the replay officials. And with that, let's head down to the sideline with Steven.
Pego back here reporting. UIndy has only trailed once at halftime this year, and they lost that game. Paul Cassara was seen trying to calm his players and get everybody on the same page after that big run around the 10-minute mark. Mckendree's fans are electric, and you can feel it and see it on the bench. It's being reflected. About to close out the half. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Steven. Let's step aside.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
36-22, Mckendree with the lead, and man, they've looked like a great team. This is not the same group of guys that came in Nickerson Hall a couple months ago.
No, this team has changed itself entirely, and like you said, since that game here at Nickerson, winning 10 of the last 13, maybe that game was the wake-up call this Bearcat team had needed. Looking for that revenge win, although you could say they got some revenge in the GLVC tournament, winning the GLVC tournament over UMSL, a team who beat Uindy.
Bruno Williams enters the game for Indianapolis. He'll think about a 3 here. This defense has been very impressive for Mckendree. Williams drives in again, kicks it out, 7 to shoot. Long range Jay, he got it. How about Josiah Tynes? Jay's in the name.
It's just taking a long time for the Greyhounds to find those open looks with this Bearcat defense just being everywhere on the floor. All 5 of them doing their job so far.
Corner kick, here's a 3 off the backboard.
And you have 5-on-4 on the court now.
Thought about a transition 3 instead. Smartly get it to the GLVC Player of the Year. He goes up and off the glass to put it in.
That's a tough bucket there by Choa, too. He's so good at that tough bucket. Turns to the left, and defender right up on him, doesn't care, puts it off the glass.
Stolen away. 1-on-2. Here's Williams between his legs, loses it. For Coach Corsaro, you want him maybe just to slow things down if he can't commit to the full run. It's tough playing that way. Here's another steal. A couple of them now in a row. And here's Tynes. They're going to set up the half-court offense. Choa called with a foul. An illegal screen. His second personal of this game. And you think he's going to go take a seat?
You'd have to imagine. You don't want to lose Choa like you did in that UMSL game. Looks like he's going to keep him in. No, there he goes now down to the bench, as he probably should for the UND side here. You don't want to get him in foul trouble because you might need him later in this game.
And I don't think it's, to show some punishment for Choa. I think it's just that they want to make sure he doesn't accidentally pick up that third. It's not like that was a bad foul. He just got his feet moving a little bit. It's not like he went through and picked up a terrible charge or couldn't get his feet set for a block. It was just wrong place, wrong time. I want to try to avoid getting a third third one of those before you head into the half. Here's another steal. Do they go for it all? No, they'll slow down. Learning from some mistakes. Going in again, coast to coast. Yes, it's an 8-point game. Pounds a couple buckets away from being right where they want to be.
And how about Jacoby Robinson so far? 3 steals now already on the night. On the defensive end, he's just been sticking his hand out, getting those deflections, getting those steals, and then a nice transition shot from him too.
Suggs and Boltman call the timeout. We'll take it with them up here, Uindytv and the GLVC Sports Network.
Are you feeling alone in your faith? UIndy Catholic gives you an opportunity to get involved in a religious community on campus, providing sacramental needs and fellowship for prospective students and giving you a sense of belonging.
We just want you guys to know that God loves you, He delights in you, and He's in awe of you. And we would love to meet you. So you should come on out.
Uindy Catholic, a community for you.
I'll take the championship instead. Back here at Nickerson Hall. Game 3 of 4 today of 7 total this upcoming weekend at Nickerson Hall. Let's take a look at this one.
Robinson, crossover, get around the defender, avoid the blocking hand there of Luke Hensler. Get the layup to go. Nice transition layup from Robinson.
I mean, this transition defense has been very good for the Bearcats, so credit to UIndy for finding that hole. The one before they were not able to. As, look at this, backing his way on the inside. Vicentic lays it in.
And he has 15 on the night. UIndy just can't find a way to stop him. He's done it from both inside the paint and outside the arc as well.
Boltman just 5 points. They've done a good job keying in on him as a foul is called. Both teams in the bonus the rest of the way out here in half number 1. Done a good job keying in on Boltman, but how about the GLVC tournament MVP, Milos Vicentic? Boy, is he playing well. Mckendree with this 10-point lead.
And he's really found his rhythm as the year's gone on. Vicentic has, like you said, GLVC tournament MVP, and so far tonight, leading scorer, the only player in double figures on either side. Vicentic's just, his impact cannot be understated for this Bearcat team and what they've done this year.
Coach Corsaro, he's got a lot in front of him. A lot on his plate here heading into that halftime break. He usually delivers some great messages to the squad, but this is going to be maybe the most important one yet. How to get back from such a deficit in the first round of his first tournament appearance as a head coach. Of course, UIndy, they were going to host it in 2020, and then just a day before that was set to start, it was called off because of COVID. We all know the story there, so it's good to see UIndy able to host it again this season. Bring the banners back out that were hidden in the closet. These men's basketball championship NCAA posters everywhere. Five to shoot on the clock. Powell, he's going to take one from the logo. He'll drive in. He won't get it off. Really? He did, and he got it. Did that one count? It looks like it will.
Impressive shot there from Powell. Noticing the clock is running down, getting into the paint, getting an easier shot than what would have been a logo shot. It's a nice one there by Powell.
Long three, he got it. That's big, 7-point game.
And that's one you needed heading into the locker room. Back down to single digits now as long as they can hold Mckendree from hitting a 3-ball here. They do have the last shot of the half if they choose to do so.
Second buzzer beater, not any good. So just a 7-point deficit. If you asked me a few minutes ago, I think that Mckendree could have gone on a bit more of a run. Kudos to Indianapolis for fighting back in this game. (40-33), Mckendree with the lead. With that, let's head down to our sideline reporter and Stephen Pagel.
Down by 7, the Greyhounds are willing to. The Greyhounds have to make a change. The energy in here is definitely feeling towards Mckendree here. They went on a run around that 10-minute mark, and they didn't give it back. More after the break. Back to you guys.
across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby. Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela Burgess.
An incredible finish by Hall.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org.
I pledged.
I pledged.
I pledged. I pledged.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
In life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby. Inside the 30, touchdown. Michaela burns it.
An incredible finish by Hall.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org/opportunity.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Wow, that's so many memories, I would say. I think the things that when my teammates and I get together, what we enjoy the most, I think, are just all the stories, all the things that happen between us playing against some of the best schools. You know, we played some Division I schools. We beat Eastern Illinois twice. A thrill for a Division II school to go in and to beat a Division I school. And I think we remember, you know, feeling like kind of the David versus Goliath. And that's what I think we realized, if you can come together as a group, you know, that you can have success. Well, I think any competitive person, it's tough. But I still look at it today, you know, it's been 30 years since I played competitive basketball, and in the business world and the education world, you lose, and things happen, and you go back to your playing days, and you got knocked down and you got to get back up. So that was kind of our mantra. I think to have dreams. As a little kid, I had dreams that I wanted to do something athletically, you know, and basketball was my passion. And so I don't care what it is, do something that you like, that you're passionate about. That to me is the most important thing, and then work to achieve it. And if you work hard enough at it, I think your dreams can come true, even when people tell you it'll never happen. And that to me was kind of the David versus Goliath thing. Yeah, and it's a cliche, but I do think life is a game. Life is a competition. And I think I was prepared because I competed in college, and I say the same thing to people. You kind of those same attributes. You have to work hard, you have to practice what you want to do, and you have to believe in yourself, and you have to have those dreams, and you put that package together, and I think it's a pretty good package for success.
So, for just the second time you're trailing this half, or at half this year, do you think that feeling is a little bit jarring? Oh, we'll be all right.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
Man, we gotta take Bryce Young, right?
What did you say?
No, it's Bryce Young. It's obviously Bryce Young.
C.J. Stroud, the obvious pick for Steichen and the Colts.
Ohio State quarterbacks, we know they don't
I mean, come on. He's got the whole offense handed to him. Check out Last Call. We've got all the sports info you need from around the nation and right here on campus. Plenty of UIndy sports.
College football and college basketball.
The NFL.
The NBA.
MLB.
Don't forget about motorsports.
And I'll give you all the gambling picks you need to know to make some money right here on Last Call, Mondays at 4 o'clock on YouTube.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
Here at Nickerson Hall, and boy, did Mckendree have a good first half or what? Nathaniel Finch, Jace Hodge down on the sideline, Stephen Pagel. Right now the Bearcats ahead by 7, in large part to that man right there in the middle of the screen. How about Milos Vicentic, a 6'7", 220-pound forward. And for Mckendree, he had 15 points, hit one of his 2 threes, 7 of 9 from the field. He shot really well. Just had himself a great day scoring. Anytime they got into the paint with him, he was successful.
Yeah, he was really successful in that first half. He was able to get the buckets inside the paint and both outside the arc as well. He was all over the floor, Vicentic was.
Tynes will get things started for Indianapolis. Cut the lead from 10 down to 7 with a Bingham 3 at the end of that first half. And another shot here could go a long way to getting this right back in striking distance. Here's Kendrick Choa, GLVC Player of the Year, has to kick it out. Bingham, he got it. That's it. Kiss to the sky does Bingham.
And that's what you got to do. You get Bingham an open look from behind the arc, and he's going to knock it down. Not the best shooter from out there, but when he's open, he knocks those down very consistently. 2 for 4 so far today, and he is UIndy's first double-figure scorer tonight, 10 points.
Inside feed to Vicentic. Again, he's been so stellar from inside the paint. He'll kick it out, though. Here's Zerlini. He goes up and gets it picked away. It'll remain a Mckendree possession.
Did a nice job to get a hand to it there by the Greyhounds, not allowing him to be the aggressor there in the paint.
Bingham's going to get the troops set up here off the inbounds pass. Going down hard is Robinson. They'll kick it out. Here's Boltman from downtown. He got it.
And Robinson could not recover in time. He looked like he fell over his own shoe there. But he could not recover in time to get a little hand to the ball before he get that shot off. But nice shot there by the Bearcats. A nice response.
Yeah, they'll stop a 6-0 run. Here are the Hounds turning it around and losing it. Choa gets it poked away. He tries to go up, and he gets fouled. I haven't seen Choa at the line a ton today. Just once was he fouled. That's typically where he excels, is drawing these fouls.
Yeah, with how aggressive he is, he often draws 2 defenders down there in the paint. And when you have 2 defenders on him, if you start being aggressive with him, going into the body of him, a foul is going to usually be called against either Choa or the other team, but the other team usually is the one that gets called for it.
Too short. Missed his first 3 now. Not his MO. A 70% free throw shooter is Kendrick Choa. Big reason why he can put up points in bunches. Choa's at the stripe again. Airballs that one. He just airballed a free throw, Jace. You don't see that.
He might be in his own head at this point. That's
Gotta be.
4 misses, and both. The first one was quite short. The second one, though, even shorter. Just lost his stroke there on the shot.
He's been kind of off on the inside as well. He'd have double figures now if he hit his free throws. Instead, 0 for 4 from the line. And now Mckendree nursing a 7-point advantage, trying to make it 10. They can't. Robinson controls. Bingham, been a bright spot, comes in and kicks it out. Robinson for 3, no. Vicentic the rebound. Inside, no, nothing there. That was an ugly shot from Parker.
And that's going to be a foul on Choa. That's now his 3rd foul.
Something quickly head to the bench probably for a while now. This is not good for Indianapolis. They need him on the floor.
It's like the UMSL game all over again with Choa getting the fouls, racking him up early. And definitely a player you don't want to have on the bench for too long, as his impact on the game is so good for the Greyhound squad.
Steinfeld into the game. Craig comes in as well. A couple younger players for this squad. Gives Williams and Choa a break, and you know Williams just got a long conversation from Paul Corsaro. Nothing seemingly going his way, offense or defense. Parker hits them both though. Back to a 9-point game. Tynes and Bingham, the 2 leading scorers for Indianapolis. It's going to take a lot on their shoulders. To the cup, the miss. Robinson can't. Zerlini can. Here's Parker, kicks it out. Powell had a good first half. 11 points for him. Inside, Vicentic. 4 guys on him, make that 3, and they foul him.
Looked to be a hand to arm there. I think it may have been on Steinfeld. I think I saw him collapse down his arms onto the Mckendree player there. It's only the first on Steinfeld, so he should be good to stay in the game for now. He has some key minutes with Choa out.
Milos Vicentic hits that one. He makes it an 11-point advantage. A 7-0 run for the Bearcats.
It's been a good open to the half here for the Bearcats. Uindy got that early 3, but since that, it's been all Mckendree, similar to what we saw in the middle portion of that first half.
Walker spins around and gets fouled. Looks like Powell the second, just a little too much contact. Bingham tosses it in. Here he comes, underneath the bucket, needs some help. Gets it to Craig. Craig comes in strong. He can't get it to go.
Greyhounds are getting some decent looks, but still some difficult ones. The Bearcats are just everywhere on the defensive end.
Vicentic, no match for the 7-footer. He goes around him. That's why you need Kendrick Choa into the game.
Vicentic is just very shifty down there. Has a bunch of moves in his bag and pulled out one of them there to get around Steinfeld and Bearcat squad. How about this?
Ahead by 13. When we come back, Uindytv and the GLVC Sports Network.
Are you feeling alone in your faith? Uindy Catholic gives you an opportunity to get involved in a religious community on campus, providing sacramental needs and fellowship for prospective students and giving you a sense of belonging.
We just want you guys to know that God loves you, He delights in you, and He's in awe of you, and we would love to meet you. So you should come on out.
Uindy Catholic, a community for you.
Hey, it's Giselle here on 88.7 WICR.
88.7 The Diamond, the only jazz and classical station in Indianapolis, completely led by the students of the University of Indianapolis. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, FM radio, HD radios, or even on our website at wicronline.org, a different kind of public radio.
A 13-point lead the GLVC tournament champions have over the GLVC regular season champions. Craig Walker, John Robinson, and Tynes into the game for Indianapolis.
The Greyhounds here, you can't let Mckendree start to pull away. You got to stay in this game here. Get a bucket here would go a long way into possibly coming back.
The Bearcats have all their starters on the floor. They have for much of this game not that deep of a bench. Doesn't matter, their starters playing so well. So is Jesse Bingham. What a smooth touch.
That's been one of the better things that's worked here for the Greyhounds so far. It's been that mid-range game, getting those open looks at mid-range, and Jarvis Walker, they're getting the steal. It looked to be, but oof, tough call.
They called it a foul instead. What do you think of that one, Jace?
Couldn't see the best here from this angle. To me, it looked like it was a fairly clean play there by Walker, but the referees obviously down there have the better angles of it, so maybe he did get a piece of the arm of the Bearcat.
Powell from the corner, no. Bounces, but the rebound. There are 3 white jerseys there, but it's Vicentic who gets it. Now it's stolen away. The Hounds could push the pace here if they want. A 4-on-3. Tynes all the way to the cup, and it's taken away. Mckendree ball. These referees letting them play.
They're just a little bit too much out of control here for the Greyhounds. You got to slow it down a little bit. Take your time if you want to come back here in this game. But tough loss of the ball there for Bingham.
And now we sit at the under 16 media timeout. You know what that means. Brings us a conversation with our very own sideline reporter, Stephen Pagel.
Mckendree has answered everything from Uindy after that half. And they seem to have extra confidence after the airball free throw. The energy is not wavering. We'll see what the Hounds have to answer after this. You're watching Uindytv's broadcast of the NCAA Division II Midwest Regional Tournament on the GLVC Sports Network. Back to you guys.
Big Bryce Young, right?
What did you say?
No, it's Bryce Young. It's obviously Bryce Young.
C.J. Stroud, the obvious pick for Steichen and the Colts.
Ohio State quarterbacks, we know they don't
I mean, come on. He's got the whole offense handed to him. Check out Last Call. We've got all the sports info you need from around the nation and right here on campus. Plenty of Uindy sports.
College football and college basketball.
The NFL.
The NBA.
MLB.
Don't forget about motorsports.
And I'll give you all the gambling picks you need to know to make some money right here on Last Call, Mondays at 4 o'clock on YouTube.
If you're watching on Uindytv's YouTube page, you just saw a promotion for our sports show, Last Call. It's Monday afternoons on Uindytv's YouTube. And Jace, you're a frequent host of that show.
Sure am. It's a fun show to be on. Love being on it.
Foul's going to be called. Looks like a blocking foul, a quick one. Tynes will pick up his second, team's fourth. A lot of quick fouls here.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to get in foul trouble early, because then that would allow Mckendree to shoot some extra free throws. If you allow them to get in the bonus, a double bonus, some extra points that you just can't afford to let Mckendree have.
Especially when you're trying to come back from behind. It's hard to cut a deficit when the other team gets so many free throws. Stolen away, Bingham. 1-on-2, what does he do? He's so good in these situations, and he lays it in.
And the Bearcat player just right there threw it right to Bingham. Bingham almost surprised there. It went right to him, but nice transition play by Bingham to split the two defenders, get the layup to go.
Single-digit deficit. Inside, he'll toss one up. It's a blocking foul. Jace, I don't know about that one. That looked like a charge. But instead,
he definitely initiated the contact. I could not tell from up here, though, if he was set in time. It looked like to me like he may have been, but not too sure there. All in all, it'll send Zerlini to the line.
78% free throw shooter. Again, averages 11.6 rebounds, hits the first. Zerlini, a transfer from Purdue Northwest, Division II school up in Hammond. Zerlini splits the pair. It's a 10-point game. This is a big stretch of basketball.
It's a huge stretch here for the Greyhounds. You can keep this lead into single digits. You can feel good about where you're at in that spot, considering how the game's gone so far. And a bucket here could go a long way into that.
Tynes uses a screen. They get the pass off of it. Here's a three. Ija. Pick and roll to perfection.
Big shot from Ija, who doesn't score much this season, but averages 4 points per game. He does Ija, but huge shot there when Uindy needed it most.
His first made bucket, and it's a big one, like you said. Now up by 7. Inside, Vicentic working on Ija. Hook shot, it's easy.
21 points now for Vicentic. He's making it look easy down there in the paint. He's had an array of defenders down there on him, but no one can figure out how to stop his down low and post moves.
Long two, it's blocked. Tipped up by the GLVC leader on blocks, Caleb Zerlini. He's got it now on the left side. Kicks it out. Powell trying to get his 14th point, and he can't.
And Powell had the Mckendree crowd ready to burst there. You could see all of them holding up the threes, holding up their hands. Could not get it to drop, though.
Walker dribbles around, and the whistle blows.
For the Greyhounds, each time you get to the charity stripe, these are key points now in this game. If you want to try to come back, knocking down these free throws could really help that case.
Coach Corsaro having some words with Josiah Tynes, getting one of his better leaders ready to go. In fact, he'll bring in the whole Uindy squad to have a conversation. They're going to evaluate the floor here. We'll go ahead and step aside. Not sure what the stoppage was for. They said over the PA system that they were checking the playing surface there. I'm not sure how accurate that was.
I didn't see any of the referees really check out the floor by any means, so definitely could have been incorrect, but here we are at the free throw line with Walker.
Travis Walker at the line, too strong. For Walker, averaged 10 points in that GLVC tournament last week. Had 11 against Mckendree back in January. A game that was completely different than this, wasn't it? A 75-50 win for Indianapolis. The everything they wanted to do worked, and that game has not been the same here.
And that was when Mckendree was the Bearcat team. The entire conference expected them to be a middle-of-the-table GLVC squad, but they've come on strong lately, 6 in a row, GLVC tournament champions. A lot of good things to say about this Bearcat squad in the last few weeks.
At that time in January, Mckendree was ranked 9th in the conference. Since then, they've obviously come a long way, one of the top 8 teams in the region. Here's Bruno Williams, thought about a 3 instead. It's Walker, and they're going to reset things. Down by 8. Walker looks for some points. Here's the 3 from Ija. Would have been big, but he can't. Vicentic with the rebound. He's got another one. 21 points, 4 boards. Not a bad little stat line with 12:30 to go. Here from the corner. He's already hit a couple, but that one bounces off the side of the backboard. Meeks can't.
But Meeks hit 2 big ones earlier in the game. The start of that big 13-0 run from Mckendree. Hitting those 2 threes. He got a few blocks there, too, in that run from Mckendree.
Bruno Williams, he'll drive. Tosses up a layup, and he hits it. It's a 6-point game. Couple buckets away thanks to 1-5.
This Greyhounds defense so far, much better so far, getting some pressure onto the Bearcats, forcing some tough shots and layups like that one right there.
The crowd can start to feel a little bit of momentum shifting towards the Greyhounds. And, of course, this has been with Kendrick Choa on the bench for the last 10 minutes. A good chunk of that as we get a 3. Chucked up, a little too ambitious was Ija. Powell inside, lays it in. Back to 8.
It was a nice move by Powell. Kind of went under the UIndy defender there, then back up to get the layup to go. And Eric Powell's been pretty key tonight, too. 13 points for him. He's second leading scorer on this Bearcat squad so far.
Walker from the GLVC logo gets it to roll in. The shooter's bounce. Mckendree ahead by 2 buckets.
The Greyhounds here, you definitely would take a stop. You want to stop here. Start cutting into this lead even more. It's been a good start so far for this comeback, but right here you need to stop.
3, right wing, got it. Did not get the stop. Vicentic, 24 for him.
And what more can you say about him and the night he's had and the GLVC tournament he had? Vicentic's just been phenomenal.
Blocked away. That'll bring us to the under 12 media timeout as the foul is called. We'll assess that next. First, let's go down to Steven on the sideline.
The energy down on the floor is a mix of confident and frustrated UIndy fans, while Mckendree fans all seem to be very confident. Still just a single-digit game. We'll see what the Hounds have next after this. Back to you guys.
Let's step aside.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
Back here at Nickerson Hall, Bearcats holding a 9-point advantage over the Greyhounds. And Nathaniel, how about this? 9-point lead for the Bearcats.
I mean,
big 3 by Vicentic there to extend that lead back up to 9.
Yeah, it seems like anytime UIndy can get within striking distance, that's just one more 3 from Mckendree to put them back ahead. I mean, for the Bearcats, they're shooting very well from downtown. 44% right now. They've made 7 of 16. It's not quite the characteristic of this squad. They shoot sub 40 on the year. They only had 9 per game. And yet somehow today they've been able to find the juice that they've needed.
I just have to say how impressed I've been by this Bearcat squad today. coming into Nickerson, a place they lost to this Greyhound squad by 25 earlier this year, and just the showing they've put out so far, the way they've been shooting the ball, Vicentic especially, has been a really good showing by the Bearcats so far.
Vicentic drives in on Robinson. Hounds trying to throw the kitchen sink at big number 31. 4 to shoot. Powell so good at beating the clocks, and he does it again.
And that's just a true point guard play right there. Have the ball, time winding down, drive it into the lane and get the layup to go. That's just a tough one.
Craig, you need these. He can't.
This is some dangerous territory UIndy's in now. Mckendree up by 11, still 10 minutes to go, yes, but the Bearcats seem to have everything going their way now.
A 5-0 run. UIndy's only made one of their last 5 from downtown. Really struggling to find any semblance of offense. Thought about an open 3 instead, back into Vicentic. Should be an easy 2. Working with the size, puts it in. Tynes the team's best defender probably, at least one of the top 2 or 3, and it's hard to guard a guy with the size of Milos Vicentic. 6'7", 220.
The Greyhounds in desperate need of a bucket here. Down by 13, 9 to play. Need to get something going soon, or Mckendree can start closing this one out.
And then suddenly it might be Mckendree who wins by 25 at Nickerson Hall. Here's a pull up from the free throw line. It's a good start, 9 points. 9-point difference. Ten to shoot. Meeks gives it to Boltman. Slow day for him, kicks it out. Here's Meeks from 3. He's hit a couple, and he gets a third. Hayden Meeks, 3 for 6 from downtown.
From Adelaide, Australia. The impact on this game, he's finding himself open in the corners, getting those threes to go. That's all you got to do when you're a shooter like that.
And now it's a 14-point game. UIndy gets it poked away, but they'll keep possession. Choa back into the game. He sat for the last about 10 game minutes. He's been on the bench for, I'd say, nearly 15 to 20 minutes in real time. You gotta imagine he's gonna be kind of cold and rusty coming in, right?
Yeah, you would definitely think so.
Bingham goes up and can't get it, but he gets a putback. Still no. Third chance. It's the lucky third.
Some extra stats to the stat board there. Now this GLVC best defense has got to get it clicking now. Stop Mckendree, get some stops here.
He'll step on the back line, so UIndy, it's a good start. They don't even need to work for that stop, as they've got the ball. With that, we've hit the under 8 media timeout, and that gives us a chance to catch up with our sideline reporter and see what Stephen Pagel has to say.
All right, back here, it's evident that Mckendree is thriving off of each other and their fans. They're supporting each other and clapping each other up. UIndy still seems pretty tense, but they're still in it. Back to you guys after this.
Taking a look at Mike Burris. He's standing over the shoulder of head coach Paul Corsaro for this UIndy huddle. And boy,
maybe the most important huddle of the season for the Greyhounds. Gotta get something going here. Wonder what Corsaro is saying down there in that huddle to get this Greyhound squad motivated, down by 12. Season on the line here. Everything they've worked for all year long to be the #1 team to host this region. all comes down to this.
I'll tell you what, looking at this UIndy schedule, they went undefeated in their non-conference slate. One stretch of the year, they won 18 straight games to tie a program record. They've currently tied a program record for wins in a season with 26. But these last few games, they have not been playing all that well, and there's the epitome of what I'm talking about. A careless turnover.
And that's definitely not what Corsaro drew up down there. You wouldn't think, at least. With the Bearcats here, chance to extend this lead, start to pull away from the Greyhounds. Definitely what they're going to look to do here. You would think they're going to get that ball to Vicentic at some point in this play.
Same starting five has been in for most of this second half, and that one a little offline. Board goes to Choa. What are they going to say? Jump ball. I mean, possession stays for Mckendree, so he can't get the rebound. Loving the effort I'm seeing from this Mckendree squad. I mean, they've come in. They're looking like the favorites right now to get out of this tournament.
They have a chip on their shoulder. Winning the GLVC tournament title wasn't enough for them, even though that was much more than they were expected to get out of this season.
UIndy gets the ball. Zerlini returns the favor of that unforced turnover. Looking at the turnover numbers so far today. UIndy, they've only coughed the ball up 7 times. It's been impressive. Mckendree, 17 turnovers. UIndy just has not been able to capitalize. They only have 8 points off turnovers. Doing good on defense, just can't get the offense to match. Trying to get some offense here. They'll kick it out. Thought about a 3. Here's Bingham from downtown. No! Ball's in the air, recovered by Mckendree.
And at some point, you're going to have to start knocking those 3-point shots down. Can't miss them for too much longer.
Vicentic thought about a 3. He's hit 2 of them. Instead to Boltman, who's plenty capable in that regard, and he walks with it. Looks like he turned around and tried to get to his teammate, but realized that there was a defender in the way. Tried to do a little extra, a little half step to get around him, and forces the 14th turnover for Mckendree.
And I think the difference in this game so far has been Mckendree's defense. They've been highly impressive against this Greyhound offense, just right up on them like you see right here with Powell, right up on Tynes, not allowing him any space to work.
Bingham has 18 points, no one else really anywhere near him. Next closest is Walker with 8. Bingham's been really the only source of offense here. 3, Williams didn't have much of a choice.
And they're taking a lot of time on offense too, are the Greyhounds. Letting almost the entire shot clock run down is not what you want to do down by 12.
Both teams a scoreless 2 minutes. So we're at the same juncture as we were when there were nearly 8 minutes on the clock. Vicentic downtown, he can't. The putback also no good, but a foul, some foul shots. And for Mckendree, I mean, we talked about it. Their best season as a program, and they are continuing to build upon it. I don't think they're done yet.
And no one expected this season from the Bearcats. No one at all.
That's what's crazy about this month, about March. Any team can get on a roll. Any team can get hot. Head coach Paul Corsaro's got 1 timeout left. Let's step aside.
Bryce Young, right?
What did you say?
No, it's Bryce Young. It's obviously Bryce Young.
C.J. Stroud, the obvious pick for Steichen and the Colts.
Ohio State quarterbacks, we know they don't.
I mean, come on. He's got the whole offense handed to him. Check out Last Call. We've got all the sports info you need from around the nation and right here on campus. Plenty of UIndy sports.
College football and college basketball.
The NFL.
The NBA.
MLB.
Don't forget about motorsports.
And I'll give you all the gambling picks you need to know to make some money right here on Last Call, Mondays at 4 o'clock on YouTube.
Uindytv, GLVC Sports Network, Nathaniel Finch, Jace Hodge, Stephen Pagel, our wonderful crew at Uindytv. As right now, Mckendree a commanding lead and looking to increase that at the foul line. Caleb Zerlini, one of the team's top free throw shooters, hits the first. Zerlini, how about this? 4 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 blocks. Hasn't had to score a lot. You know why? Because Vicentic, he's got 26 points.
And Zerlini, one of the reasons this team's defense is so good on the all-defensive team this season. He said leads in blocks, 5 blocks tonight especially. Zerlini just very impressive on the defensive end. Here he is right here guarding Bingham.
Sean Craig into the game. So is Jarvis Walker. He's got 8 points. And he keeps it at that number. I mean, Jace, this team just looks dejected. Looks like they've given up.
They're almost kind of shell-shocked, too. I don't think they expected this Bearcat team that they beat by so much earlier this year to come into their home in the NCAA tournament and play the way they have so far.
This side, of course, remains the host for the rest of the regionals. Look at this, a block. Nickerson Hall will be the host of 2 games tomorrow night. The first one, we know the matchup's going to be set there. It's going to be Ferris State at 5 o'clock, and they're going to take on Missouri St. Louis. A 2 versus 6 seed matchup there. And then for this one, this is the 3rd game today, so whoever wins this one, Mckendree's definitely got to like how they're looking, but 5 minutes left, plenty of time. They'll play the winner of the nightcap tonight. That'll be Northern Michigan playing against Hillsdale. Here's a runner at the buzzer, can't get it.
And Hillsdale's the defending champions of this region. They won it last year.
Moved on to the Elite Eight. Of course, this year the Elite Eight is going to be in Evansville. It's where the next 7 games will be played between the final 8 teams that will be left following this weekend's run. Evansville, of course, going to be a great host to that site. USI, a Division I school now, leaving the GLVC a couple years ago. Last year, their final year in the conference. Here's Craig, comes in, needs a layup, can't get it. A rebound by Vicentic.
Just one of those times where the lid seems to be on the bucket. The Greyhounds can't get anything to drop. It's just been one of those days for the Greyhounds. They've had some decent looks, just haven't been able to knock them down.
Mckendree out rebounding the Greyhounds by 7 as well. They have 30. It's been a big difference. Just more opportunities, less chances for Indianapolis. Poor shot, second one's better. Zerlini hits it. How about Uindy this season? 22-2 when they out-rebound their opponent. As of right now, not looking like that's going to happen.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say how Uindy doesn't often get out-rebounded. This is a rarity for this team. Only got out-rebounded 4 times this year. Unusual.
Ija drives in, spins around, stops, and launches up a shot that'll give him 2 foul opportunities. Just the 4th team foul against the Bearcats. Have done a good job limiting those. Vicentic picks up his 3rd with that. Let's head down to the sideline with Stephen Pagel.
So hovering around the bench of Uindy, I overheard them say they want to feed Jesse Bingham. Currently, it looks like the game is out of reach, but I saw Paul Cassar with a note card in his hand, looking at it after each defensive possession. So I'm assuming he's trying to scheme up some plays for Jesse. Mckendree doesn't seem to be letting up, but we'll see what happens. Back to you guys upstairs.
Thanks a lot, Stephen. Let's step aside. Looking at the Bearcats, a nice lead they have. They got to feel very good ahead. 14 points on the Greyhounds, the number 1 team in the region, although Mckendree's the 8 seed. They got to feel very good about where they're at this point in the season with a chance to do some more damage. This is their first time ever being in the NCAA tournament, on pace to get their first ever win as well.
And seeds don't always show it.
No.
Mckendree's been the hottest team coming into the region. Yes, they're the 8 seed, but that's because of in the middle of the season, they didn't do too hot. I mean, they were supposed to be, mid-table in the GLVC, but getting that auto bid can do wonders.
A lot of teams can be dangerous with that automatic bid, as we see Jesse Bingham toss one in.
And now you got to get stops. It's come to that point in the game, you have to get stops now. If you're unable to Mckendree, this game is all but wrapped up, but get a few stops and some points together, and you might have a game here at the end.
UIndy's got to play nearly a perfect 3 minutes and 10 seconds here if they want to get back in this one down 14 with the level of basketball that Mckendree has been playing. Here's Vicentic on the inside. Kicks it out top of the key. No. And suddenly, Mckendree with this lineup that's been in for probably the last 15 minutes or so. They haven't made any subs in a long time. These guys can start to get tired, right?
You definitely think so. But they want to run with their best squad. They want to give themselves the best chance to win this game, and that's what they're doing right now.
To the cup, rolls it in. Oh, and then trips over the ref's foot. Bingham seems to be all right. He's got 22 points now. Of course, Jesse averaging 15.
And Bingham's trying to single-handedly keep them in this game right now. Need another stop here.
Joe is still on the bench. Poked out of bounds. Mckendree will keep the ball. How about this game from Jacoby Robinson? Only 6 points, but he's done a lot more than just score. 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. Count that one, he poked it away. It's been an impressive little stretch of basketball for number 23. That'll be a timeout here from head coach George Suggs. You see him right there. Let's step aside.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
UIndy 2:25 to go on the clock at home. They are down currently on the board by 12. It's going to take a lot. What do the Hounds need to do to get back in this one, Jace?
Just got to get stops. You got to string together a few stops, get some buckets, some easy layups like Bingham's been getting. That's all you got to do to get back in this game. Once it gets down to single digits, it's really anybody's game for the last 30 seconds to a minute.
You saw IU make an improbable comeback late in that game against Penn State. Couldn't pull it out, though. But good proof as the jump ball will give UIndy possession. Good proof that anything can happen in the final couple minutes of a basketball game, especially at this time of year.
And if you watched the Iowa-Michigan State game earlier in the year, Iowa was down by 12 with less than a minute to go. They came back, forced overtime, and won that game. In March, anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
That's why it's called March Madness.
That's right. Giants will cross the timeline. Looks for his teammate Nejon, playing good minutes late. He gets fouled. Tell you what, why do you think Ejon is in the game right now instead of the Conference Player of the Year? What do you think the thought process is from Coach Corsaro here?
Seems like, Choa's just been kind of in and out today. Airballed a free throw earlier. You can tell how much his confidence just he wasn't in the game today. So I think Ejon, Corsaro is going to run with him. Thinks it gives his ground team the best chance to come back here.
Choa again didn't play a large portion of that UMSL game, and Coach Corsaro, as we see a long two here from Bingham. It's a good one.
Bingham trying to will them back into this game. 6 straight points now, 10-point lead. The Greyhounds trying to string together a late run here.
7 days ago it was Kendrick Choa who sat on the bench in that semifinal round of the GLVC tournament, and you know what? Coach Corsaro just told him, hey, I don't see that look in your eyes. That's a word he said during one of the media timeouts. You're not going to play if you don't have that look in your eyes. Pretty cold statement there, and I think that's similar to why he's not on the floor now. How about that, though, the and one?
And that is what you cannot let happen if you're the Greyhounds there. You start to come back, but then you let up an and one.
Take a look at this one.
And it was a nice feed,
Beautiful.
Really nice feed from Bryson Boltman. Found the runner there in Carson Parker. Bryson Boltman, 5 assists per game this year. Fantastic passer he is.
Trying to complete the three-point play. It's now a 13-point lead.
And that hurts significantly now.
Mckendree, they led by as many as 16 today. That was just a couple minutes ago. Ejot crossover inside, got it. plus the foul. Trying to return the favor.
Now I wonder, does UIndy start the foul game now? Because if you decided just to play straight-up defense after this, it would waste almost 30 seconds off the clock, some precious 30 seconds that you might need. Down by 11, maybe 10 here. Do you start playing the foul game? It's only the bonus right now, not the double bonus, so it would be a 1-1.
Mckendree middle of the pack in terms of free throw shooting, but they've been clutch of late. Wouldn't put it past them to make a good chunk of these free throws if that's the case. As Ejah completes the three-point play.
We'll see what the Greyhounds' tactic is here now, down by 10.
I mean, Mckendree's 11 of 13 this game from the foul stripe. Look at this, a steal instead. Putting it in, Jesse Bingham.
And that's one way to do it. You don't got to foul
they like
or
that a
let
lot.
up time.
They like that a lot better than your ideas. Now we do see a foul. Now it'll be a timeout instead from Coach Suggs. And that'll allow us to step aside as well. Mckendree's got one timeout left. More next.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student.
71-63, Uindy some new life within single digits. Jace Mckendree is going to take just a couple more buckets, right? And then they can close this game out.
You would think so. Probably 4-5 more points should be able to be enough to close this game out. But the Greyhounds, nice pressure there. The full court pressure really getting to Mckendree, being able to double team a Bearcat in both of the corners there, forcing Mckendree to first turn it over, then call a timeout. See what they can do here, see if they can't force another turnover. If they can't, then you would think that the foul game is in play now. But an inspired effort here by the Greyhounds to end this game. Some energy we haven't seen from them all day long.
That's the difference between their game against Umsel. Seemed like they just gave up coming out of the halftime break. I haven't seen as much give up here as we had earlier. They're starting to work a little bit better. We see a take foul there. In the double bonus, 2 foul shots. I beg your pardon, they're in the 1-on-1. Mckendree's got to hit this.
And they give it to their star, Bryson Boltman. 3-time first-team All-GLVC, including this year where he was unanimously selected to be on that first-team All-GLVC.
He's on the first-team All-Region team. GLVC All-Tournament team. Second in the conference in scoring, and he hits the first. 77% foul shooter.
Cool, calm, collected. Real easy for Bryson Boltman.
This next one, give him a double-double. He's got 10 assists. 10 assists. Are you kidding me? Bryson Boltman, what a game he's having.
And that's why he's the best passer on this team by far.
Leading the game in minutes. He's played almost the entire game. I think he might have gotten one break, and that was early on for maybe a minute. Here's Bingham. Gets it off to Robinson. You need to start hitting some threes. Bingham can do so. Instead, he'll go in and lose it. Where's the kick ball? Instead, the ball's on the ground. It'll remain Hounds ball.
And they took too much time there to get a shot off. You don't want to waste all that time and not get any shot off. 14 seconds they went off the clock.
And now a timeout called. Instead, they're going to review that last play, make sure that they got it right. Probably a good idea with 42.7 seconds to go. Let's step aside. You're watching regional basketball, Division II men's basketball, Midwest region on Uindytv and the GLVC Sports Network.
Bryce Young, right?
What did you say?
No, it's Bryce Young. It's obviously Bryce Young.
C.J. Stroud, the obvious pick for Steichen and the Colts.
Ohio State quarterbacks, we know they don't.
I mean, come on. He's got the whole offense handed to him. Check out Last Call. We've got all the sports info you need from around the nation and right here on campus. Plenty of UIndy sports.
College football and college basketball.
The NFL.
The NBA.
MLB.
Don't forget about motorsports.
And I'll give you all the gambling picks you need to know to make some money right here on Last Call, Mondays at 4 o'clock on YouTube.
10-point lead for the Bearcats. Chase, it seems like it's that point in the game with 42.7 seconds to go where the Hounds just start chucking up threes.
At this point, all you can do is hope and pray. Start chucking up some threes, hope they hit. That's what Iowa did, like in the game I mentioned earlier. But if you're UIndy here, not much more you can do.
What do you think the conversation's like from George Suggs and this Bearcats squad?
Just do what they've been doing all day long. Play that tight, up-close defense. Don't let any easy open threes for the Greyhounds. Just close this game out, get the win, and move to tomorrow.
Hounds will inbound. They confirm the call. Comes into Bruno Williams, now Tynes. Halfway through the clock. Chuck up 3 time. First one's a miss. Bingham can't. Foul called there. It'll go against Ejaw.
And that's probably going to do it.
Well, UIndy's basketball team not having all the success, but how about this swimming and diving team? Both the men and the women's squads competing in nationals. Right now just down the street at IUPUI at the Natatorium. Men's team looking to lock up what's been a very successful week trying to win that national championship. The women's team, a little bit of work cut out for them, but they're definitely in striking distance. Powell hits them both. It was a 12-point Greyhound deficit, and Coach Corsaro takes his last timeout. We'll take one with them. It's a full timeout right here from Nickerson Hall.
Bryce Young, right?
What did you say?
No, it's Bryce Young. It's obviously Bryce Young.
C.J. Stroud, the obvious pick for Steichen and the Colts.
Ohio State quarterbacks, we know they don't
I mean, come on. He's got the whole offense handed to him. Check out Last Call. We've got all the sports info you need from around the nation and right here on campus. Plenty of UIndy sports.
College football and college basketball.
The NFL.
The NBA.
MLB.
Don't forget about motorsports.
And I'll give you all the gambling picks you need to know to make some money right here on Last Call, Mondays at 4 o'clock on YouTube.
75-63, Mckendree with the lead. 25 and 4/10 of a second left. What do you think that Coach Corsaro is trying to tell his Hounds in that huddle?
I don't know what more he can say down there.
Probably just give it your all. Don't give up.
Yep, just end out the season as best as you can here. Hit a few shots, maybe get some last buckets in. But the Bearcats came in tonight. Very impressive. The Mckendree Bearcats, how about this season they're having right now?
Yeah, and again, they started slow, but college basketball is just about getting hot at the right time, hitting your peak at the right time. UIndy hit their peak very early, and it's been a slide. They're going to go on to lose as we get a 3 here from Robinson. No, they're probably going to go on to lose 3 of their final 5 games of the season. That's not what the doctor ordered, to say the least, on this season. I mean, the Hounds, they look like they could be one of the #1 teams in the nation. They were all the way as highly ranked as 4 in the polls. And it just hasn't come to fruition over the last half a month.
Mckendree showing why they won that GLBC tournament, why they won it so convincingly, too, over UMSL. Won by 11 in the GLBC final. Mckendree's going to advance to the semis along with UMSL, so those two might see each other once again in the final on Tuesday, but that remains to be seen.
Mckendree's going to go on to win their first ever NCAA tournament game. They're going to play either Northern Michigan or Hillsdale. We'll find out the winner here in about 2 hours. We're going to have coverage. That game will tip off in about 30 minutes right here on Uindytv and the GLVC Sports Network. Just switch streams once this one concludes. It'll be live again in about a half hour as we'll have some break between these two ones. But how about this? Mckendree comes in and stuns the Greyhounds at Nickerson Hall. 77-63, the final score. Who could have predicted this one? The 1 seed goes down.
Major upset. March Madness is what it really is about, isn't it? March Madness, the upsets that you find here, you see in March Madness, just unbelievable.
Let's go down to the sideline with Steven.
there you have it. Mckendree takes the win after the first attempt to come back by Uindy was stopped short. Mckendree gets sweet revenge against the Hounds, and they are now 4-15 all-time against them. They will now play the winner between number 4 Hillsdale and number 5 Northern Michigan up next. You've watched the Uindytv production by the GLVC Network. It's been a pleasure. Thank you guys. Back to you upstairs.
Thanks a lot, Stephen. We appreciate all of your sideline reports throughout this contest. And, man, hats off to Mckendree. We will see them tomorrow. We're going to have coverage of this next game. Again, Hillsdale, Northern Michigan. That's going to come up here in just about a half hour. Jace, you're going to be on the call. That one should be an exciting game.
Should be. Northern Michigan, really young team coming into the season. A lot of freshmen. And they lost to Hillsdale early in the year by 25, so we'll see how that game goes. Hillsdale, the reigning champions of this Midwest Regional, so we'll see what they can do.
Indianapolis falls to 26-4 on the year. And again, they had one of their best seasons as a program, so this shouldn't take too much away from that. Kudos to the Greyhounds for what ended up being a very impressive year. Jesse Bingham ends the game with 26 points to lead the squad. And this team, they'll be back next year. Jacoby Robinson has the option to stay. He might leave. He's kind of talked about that, what he wants to do. Bruno Williams will graduate. Etherington and Nickerson will graduate. But aside from that, I mean, this squad could return a lot of the same guys. Definitely going to return Showa and Bingham, barring anything crazy. I mean, this could be a squad to reckon with here moving forward. For our crew at Uindytv, a great game. We've got another one for you next. The nightcap comes up shortly from Nickerson Hall. Our sideline reporter, Stephen Pagel. My color commentator, Jace Hodge. I'm Nathaniel Finch, signing off for a half hour.
Bryce Young, right?
What did you say?
No, it's Bryce Young. It's obviously Bryce Young.
C.J. Stroud, the obvious pick for Steichen and the Colts.
Ohio State quarterbacks, we know they don't win.